the broader consequences of Atheist Republic's Indian legal battle. So, guys, I wanted to bring to you today something that one of my Indian lawyer friends, lovely Atheist Republic community member, sent to me. And it is an analysis that someone did of our legal case before the Delhi High Court, and basically why it is significant and some of the broader consequences of it. And I thought this was really interesting to see someone else analyze this, or analyze our case, analyze why it's important. And I actually learned a lot from it, and a very interesting, different perspective, and it gave me a lot more context behind certain things. Armin, you read this today. What did you think of this analysis about our case?
Wait, I thought we're not supposed to do commentary on this and just read the
It's
news.
Commentary about the analysis.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm... Okay, so can you tell people... I'm afraid of giving comments because you told me that there's limitations of what you could say, and I don't know what those limitations are. So we have gotten legal advice on what not to say. Can you tell me?
Yeah, basically, we are advised and discouraged from giving our opinion on the case itself directly.
So
but we're just discussing someone else's analysis of the matter at hand. We're discussing this other person's opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna say it was very interesting. Okay, because I don't know what the red lines are and what I could say. Can we just read? Can you just tell me? Can you just tell people? Because I might do an oopsie. You know, when I start talking, I'm not gonna. So our lawyers told us not to say certain things. Okay, and my self-control is very limited when it comes to giving my opinions. So I don't know if I should even start talking about it. So maybe can you just tell us what the analysis
Okay. Before I get into it, I just want to say thank you to Anonymous who donated $2. That was very kind. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone in the live chat who brought that to our attention.
Yes.
So I thought that this was absolutely fascinating. Honestly, I want to go through and read the whole thing, but I don't think we can. Basically, so it starts off with the byline is Delhi High Court's observations appear to blur the distinction between tolerable content and blasphemy. So for those who are not familiar with our case, I can't even remember the dates anymore. This has been going on for so long. But back over a year ago, someone filed a legal complaint against Twitter. It didn't originally involve us. It was against Twitter, but regarding our content. So basically, making the plea to Twitter is like, why are you not taking this down? This is in violation of the law. This is in violation of your responsibilities to fulfill this part of the IT law, et cetera, et cetera. And they were demanding that Twitter remove specific posts that supposedly blasphemed the goddess Kali and other things about Hinduism. And also they wanted our whole account to get banned. And then there were several hearings. In one hearing, Twitter told India, you have to get rid of these tweets. And it wasn't until the next hearing, which happened in March of this year, that Twitter actually followed through on what the court ordered at the previous hearing. And that's when they they removed those 6 tweets from viewing in India. And then 3 days later, coincidentally, without notice, our entire account was banned.
Because of blasphemy, did you mention because of the blasphemous charge?
Yeah, for alleged derogatory and offensive representations of the goddess Kali.
Yeah, so the analysis says that the laws in India that are referred to as blasphemy laws, even though that's not their name, okay, they make it clear that, correct me if I'm wrong about what this article says, okay, that for the Delhi High Court to claim that that law applies to our tweets, they had to show that we had intentionally tried to cause societal distress. Okay, like the court treated it as if the law applies, and this is the Delhi High Court. This is not your just like random small little mom and pop court in the corner of an avenue.
The mom
okay?
and pop court? Uh-huh.
No,
I know what you mean.
This is the High Court, okay? Delhi High Court. And they seem to not understand the law, okay? Because they treat it as, this is offensive, so this law applies to it, right? Right? However, what they should have done is like, even though the law in general seems, okay, I don't know if I can say that, okay? Even though the law, some people have a problem with the law, right? Even the law, as problematic as it is, still doesn't apply to this because they haven't even tried to demonstrate or show that this tweet was with the intention of causing the fabric of society to break apart. Like, even if you could show, first of all, the intention was not even to, even if the intention is to offend, which they haven't even demonstrated that would not mean that this law applies to it. Am I? They have to show
actually,
that.
That is a pretty good understanding of a huge chunk of this analysis.
There we go.
That was a pretty good description of what this person is talking about. So basically, I want to read a section of this. So it says, it's one thing for a user to complain to Twitter and then go after Twitter legally because they are not complying with their, like user hate speech report that they just filed on their phone, right? So that the court cannot just take the complaint that person makes on face value. So here's a quote from the article. Quote, "But the plea needs to be legally tested. It can't be said that the ingredients of Section 295A of the Indian Penal Code, which is the blasphemy law, are affected in this case, especially if one applies the test of a reasonable person. A reasonable person is an ordinary person of common sense and prudence and not an out of ordinary or hypersensitive person." This is like a standard set by law, what a reasonable person is. "It is not as if the Delhi High Court has formed even a prima facie view that the Atheist Republic may be guilty of hate speech." So meaning that the court hasn't even agreed that just on face value for the establishing of a fact, like that Atheist Republic committed hate speech. And then this was what I found so interesting. It goes into the section in the law on hate speech. In Parvasi Balai Sangtham versus the Union of India 2014, the Supreme Court held that the offense of hate speech is not about causing distress to an individual, but about targeting the social standings of persons, qua their memberships of groups, in a way that opens them up to hostility, discrimination, or even violence. As New Zealander legal philosopher Jeremy Waldron would argue, the aim of hate speech codes is not to protect people from the effect of their feelings, but to preserve, quote, the assurance of their decency of treatment in society. And then it continues. The portrayal of Kali by Atheist Republic may therefore suggest that it may have caused anger and hurt among some users on Twitter, but it is unlikely to have caused anything beyond that, to attract the ingredients of Section 295A so as to threaten the principles of inclusiveness and dignity of a group.
Okay, so all those people that filed police reports against us, okay, they apparently don't understand their own law, which you can't blame them. Apparently even your own high court doesn't understand your own law.
Most people don't understand.
Yeah, but so they were like, we're offended, therefore this is illegal. Apparently, even based on Indian standards, that's not how it works.
Well, I wouldn't, according to this analysis.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
So, and then they continue. Therefore, certain remarks by the Delhi High Court's judges while hearing this case on Monday, this was written back then, appeared to blur the distinction between tolerable criticism or caricature of religion and blasphemy. So, yeah, it's blurring the line between what is a caricature, what is satire, and what is blasphemy. The court's observation that Twitter would have been more sensitive had the content been about, quote unquote, another religion, might have been influenced by the facts of the case, which actually, no, I can't say that. But when seen in the context of rising intolerance towards minorities, it is likely to dismay observers. One only hopes that the judges were merely responding to the contentions of the parties before them. And then this analysis digs into how the court compared us to Trump.
Yeah, by the way, guys, I never thought in my life I would say the High Court of a High Court in India, okay, the Delhi High Court would be comparing the Atheist Republic to Trump. Susie, did you ever think that you would be compared to Trump by a Delhi High Court?
Holy crap, even you saying that now is so crazy. No.
Okay. I never did this. So, like, one of my life accomplishments that I didn't know that I would.
This was not on the bingo card.
We got that out of the way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How are we, Susie? Explain to me, how is the Delhi High Court think that we are like Trump? Explain.
Okay. For the longest time, I didn't actually understand it very well. It still seemed so out of left field for me, but this analysis helped me understand the comparison they're drawing a lot more, actually. Mm-hmm. So, Twitter's actions against Donald Trump. Twitter can be accused of not acting fast enough to warn the atheistic organization, which is accused of repeatedly posting blasphemous content about the Hindu deity. The High Court has also asked Twitter to show it in the law. The High Court has also asked Twitter to show it the law that states action against offensive tweets can only be taken following a court order. So they're basically saying, like, Twitter is like, well, we didn't do this because we weren't forced to. We didn't have an order to do so, so we're not going to take action against this person. And the court is saying, well, who says, where in the law does it say that you have to wait before you are compelled to take action against someone? And that's where they brought up Trump.
So let me break this down to you for people who don't get what's happening, okay? So the Delhi High Court wanted Twitter to take down our tweets and our account before it even got involved, right? So the Delhi High Court is like, how dare you, Twitter?
Well, that's the implication. I wouldn't say they wanted it. But that's
the implication is,
based on this analysis, it follows that line of reasoning. Okay,
well, let me make my point. Okay, the Delhi High Court seems to be suggesting that why are you making us ask? Okay, you should. It's kind of like the girlfriend that you have, or that she's like, you should have done this for me without me asking. You know what I mean? Like, right? The Delhi High Court is telling United States, like, you should have already known this. Like, this is, I'm offended that you didn't take this action without me actually officially complaining to you. Okay,
I had to ask.
And so the Twitter, so you're asking Twitter, like, what? So Twitter is like, yeah, you have to give me a court order for us to take down Atheist Republic. Okay, this is how things work. And Delhi High Court is like, well, you did it for Trump. You didn't get a court order for Trump. So why do you need a court order for Atheist Republic? You should have known, just like you know that Trump is a danger to society and you took action without a court order, you should have also realized that Atheist Republic is a danger to the Indian society. So you should have taken action without us giving you a court order. That's basically what is happening, right?
Well, you exaggerated a little bit, but yeah. Court. Let me be clear.
Am I exaggerating? That's what their line of reasoning is. That's what they're saying.
But the court has never said that we are a danger to society.
No. Okay. They're saying that Trump shows that you don't need a court order to take action. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you didn't need. So they're saying, therefore, you didn't need a court order to take action against Atheist Republic. Okay. What is the reasoning behind taking actions against Trump? Twitter say, like, okay, this is a danger to society. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So the Daily Court is like, well, Atheist Republic. You know what I mean? They're not saying that, like, the standards that this should also apply to Atheist Republic. That you didn't require a court order. Okay. Well, I don't know. That's basically what it comes down to. That's what it seems that they're suggesting.
There's a little bit more of an implication. I don't know if I would go that far. So I want to continue in this analysis because this is really
D is saying AR hasn't orchestrated an insurrection. Yet.
Armin, I knew you were going to say that, and we cannot have this on YouTube.
Oh, okay. No, we're joking. Obviously, that's a joke. Holy crap! Like, do people think I'm being serious? Okay, guys.
I never know. I'm so traumatized by this freaking platform.
Geez. Okay, okay. I'll stop talking. I'll just go in the corner here. Okay.
I can't talk without violating terms of service.
I'm just gonna read this book. You just keep talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to continue a little bit. The analysis continues. In a sense, the court is probably asking Twitter to explain why it did not remove the content if alleged blasphemous by any other user. At the same time, it has asked the center, meaning the central government, to examine the tweets in question and other allegedly offensive posts by the atheistic organization to see if those could be blocked under Section 69A of the IT Act. Some of our websites have been blocked under 69A of the IT Act. Even the center has admitted the legal position that the social media companies can't violate the rights of its users by arbitrarily pulling down its content. So basically saying, even though the Delhi High Court is like asking these questions about why Twitter didn't go ahead and just take this proactive action against us, the central government recognizes the fact that it would be violating rights if social media companies are just arbitrarily, just pulling stuff left and right. And okay, wait, there was another part that I wanted to read. The bench's questions to Twitter may indeed point to the need for a larger debate on the scope of Twitter's intervention in such matters. The bench asked, does Twitter have any obligation on its part to keep a watch on its users to find out if they are posting something offensive? If Twitter is supposed to block an account in a case of repeated complaints, or only remove content every time there is a complaint, like a legal complaint. So I personally thought framing it that way was interesting because I see offensive stuff on Twitter. Like you go on Twitter to see offensive things. What level of involvement? I think it's impossible for Twitter to have the level of involvement that is implied here. How in the world does a platform ever moderate and remove what could or could not be found offensive?
I don't think
according to who?
Yeah.
It's a private company, also.
Yeah. Well, they usually mean the things that are just offensive to them. They don't care about other stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just gonna stop. I really think I might say stuff that I shouldn't. So let's just read some comments. How about that?
I want to get to some of the rest of it. So the bench seems to have been disappointed that Twitter took no action despite the petitioner complaining about the offensive content as early as December 9th of last year. The court had first directed Twitter to remove objectionable content on October 29th last year, but by according importance to people's sentiments, Twitter's inaction appeared to have invited harsh comments from the bench. And there was all this other stuff. So,
by the way, before I just want to remind people that we're talking about the High Court, a High Court in India discussing drawings of goddesses, of a goddess. Okay, this has become this. They're angry and they're targeting Twitter over a drawing of a goddess. And this is the case that these people are taking seriously, because sometimes we get lost. We're talking about legal issues and what is blasphemy law in India and what is Twitter guidelines, and can they enforce these laws out of India's borders? And this is what is the precedence for this? What is the legal justification for this? And sometimes we have to take a moment to step back and appreciate how ridiculous all of this is, right? That all of this is just about a drawing. Okay, just wanted to remind. And
yeah, but I wanted.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get into the the consequences from this, though.
Okay. Can I admit something? Okay, can I admit something? I saw you send me a private chat. Okay, and I'm like, oh no, she's Is she telling me that I've gone too far? Is she telling me to shut up, Armin? Like, no, it's a link. Thank Callie. It's just a link. I didn't do an oopsie. I didn't do an oopsie. Okay.
So for what I liked about this analysis, though, as a wrap up, is what they said about kind of like the broader consequences of this. What is like the fallout or some reason why this is important. So according to this analyst, they say, quote, the Atheist Republic's content on the goddess Kali may not qualify as an artistic work similar to that of the eminent painter M.F. Hussein, against whom frivolous complaints were filed and which were then later quashed by the Delhi High Court. But should the Delhi High Court not consider whether an atheist organization and its followers have the right to spread their beliefs without hurting the sentiments of the believers? Merely asking Twitter to submit to the demands of a few complainants without examining the merit of their complaints will be tantamount to legitimizing the heckler's veto.
And what is this that you have me brought up?
This is, I figured since we're talking about our legal case in India, I would like to share with you guys where you can support us in this legal battle. So we had our last hearing last March, and we have another hearing in September, which is approaching surprisingly quickly. I'm like, oh my God, September's around the corner. And so if you guys would like to help us in our various legal cases in India, because there are more than one, you can help us at GoFundMe. I should put the link in the description.
Yeah. Also in the live chat. By the way, we already received about $4,700. So that has helped us a lot. Like, guys, like all the lawyers that we're talking to you about, like the fact that they're fighting for us and the courts and like talking to, like, this is because you guys donated. Like 137 people donated to us, almost $5,000. So like we're only 300 short. So thank you for that, because we wouldn't be able to even defend ourselves even a little bit without you guys donating. So thank you.
Yeah, so you can find a link to support this in the description. I also just put it on the live chat, or if you just go to GoFundMe and say help us fight Hindutva, you can donate there. And this will help us against all of the different forms of judicial harassment that are trying to censor our expression, our beautiful representation of Kali, and a Kali that represents, love, sexual liberation. She's unbridled, unbridled sexual liberation. Pure Shakti itself cannot be contained, as represented by our beautiful Kali. Anyways, because of that, we have all this mess. And also our lawyers that do great work for us that we have to support. So please consider contributing to our legal fund. It does help us so much.
Yeah. D is asking, is this enough? Well, I mean, $1 goes a longer way in India because, the legal cost in India is a lot more affordable than in the United States. So we get a lot done in India with this almost $5,000 compared to if we were fighting this battle in the United States, then maybe no, right? So, So yeah, that's why you consider donating, because each dollar actually helps us. Does a lot more than it would if we were doing it somewhere else. We have some other comment. Yeah. Here, let's read this. Satya is no, you don't want.
I mean, I have nothing to say in response to this.
Okay.
Yeah. Darko is saying, even if these laws were legit and the court was right, I'm not in India, so I should be able to see those tweets. So with the order from the Delhi High Court, I should make this clear. It was that they would be removed from the Indian market. So the tweets were up if you were anywhere except India. Well, except for the fact then a few days later our Twitter account was banned.
Yeah. We got so everything is gone.
Conveniently.
I'm just highlighting this comment just so that I have it for reference, just to reach out to Rami Sivan. So I just wanted this to be on the video. That's why I highlighted it. Thank you for the recommendation. Okay, let's do this one.
Sache Khan is saying, why don't you hire some good lawyer and get it over with? Go to Hardish Salve or something.
I just wanted to highlight this to say that we have really good lawyers. I just wanted to use this actually to say our lawyers are actually really, really good. So the reason why I start,
we have competent counsel. I'm not worried about that. Why does this take so long? Because the judicial system is notoriously overburdened, and also court matters just take a long time, no matter where you are, really.
Oh, Oxymoron is saying dollar is going strong against rupee. Now is a good time. Okay, guys, then maybe donate now. This is that's a good time to convert it to rupees. Okay, I mean, by the way, actually, just to be clear, do not donate to us anything if you're financially stressed out. Okay, take care of yourself first. Okay, we're just only talking to people who are financially secure. If you're not financially secure, then you should be supporting us by liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell and leaving a comment. All of those are free. Doesn't cost you anything. Okay. But that is mandatory, okay? Unlike donating to us is not mandatory, but liking and subscribing and leaving a comment, that is mandatory. All right. Oh, somebody's saying, oh my God, he said Harish Salve is going to help AR. I don't know, is this a famous lawyer or something? I don't know this guy.
Yo no sé.
Celebrity lawyer in India.
Atheist Republic needs your help. We've been the target of many legal attacks by Hindu nationalists ever since our founder, Armin Navabi, blasphemed against Hindu deities. We have retained legal counsel to help us defend our access to our community in India. We have started a fundraiser that will help us afford to tackle many legal issues, including judicial harassment and censorship. Whatever you can contribute will go a long ways in helping us in this fight. Link in the description below.